translated it onto the foot. You remember I told you off air that if Jonathan Sowa is not careful, before the end of the game, he will be sent off in this game. Not him alone, the attitude.
Now, the team manager obviously was called by the referee. There was something wrong. He was also complaining about something. But in situations like this, take your grievances and then you wait, and then the referee's still telling you that, hey, okay, come forward, you know, I've heard you, but calm down, I'm in charge. Okay, now let's have a conversation. So he's told him, yellow card, now you stop. MSO can be.
Of course, I mean, he did say something.
The referee came back.
Of course, he did say something. That's why the referee came back and showed him the record. He said something. And for me, it is indiscipline. And you saw what was happening on the field of play from some of the players of Medeama. Attitude.
Yeah, now we've seen this in the Ghana Premier League where clubs and officials really, and players are complaining, following referee, pushing referee sometimes.
Watch.
You know, watch Jonathan Sowa again here. Watch his tackle. Obviously didn't go for the ball. And a yellow card offence. The referee was straight, and it's a red card. Yeah, and watch his reaction. He
started with their captain. If they can go back for us to check. You see, you know you are on card. That time you go back for where he was going after the captain of the younger team. And
the opponents are telling him, calm down. You can't talk to the referee like that. You know, it's unfortunate.
You go back. If you can go back and let's just go back again. Go back a little. Now, yes, it started from here. Watch the way he went in. You know you are on the card. You see, he used his elbow on the head of the player, and the referee allowed play to
he was watching him?
Yes, of course. So he allowed play to move on, and then look, watch this again. He went in, he missed the ball, and then what again? He wanted to bring the player down, and I just don't understand the attitude of Jonathan Sowa. Some of us complain about his attitude. And so some people felt that we were trying to be so hard on him. Yeah, due to cards, the Medeama first game at the Baba Airport, he was suspended by CAF. He couldn't play. You came back, you scored from the spot kick, and on the same day, your attitude on the field was not good. He was virtually even fighting with his colleagues on the field of play.
Tactically, you think the coach should have taken him out?
Well, I wouldn't say no or yes, but the point is that the coach knows the temperament of the player.
We've seen that where coaches feel that his player on the yellow might get a red, so they take him out.
They had a penalty that I thought that if they had leveled.
And again, so I mean,
of course, right after the penalty miss, Jonathan Sowa should have been out. This kind of performance and this kind of attitude started right after he missed that penalty. So by this time, the coach of Medeama should know the typical attitude of Jonathan Sowa.
He knows.
So situation like this, away game like this, you miss a penalty like this, you misbehave on the field, and you play for 90 minutes.
And you've cost your team.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you miss the next important game in the interclub competition for Medeama. This is your biggest centre forward, your top scorer. You know his situation. Everybody in the Medeama team knows everything about Jonathan Sowa.
This is the penalty call. You know, the first one wasn't given. This one was. Referee could have ignored it, would have said it was a 50-50. This at 1-0, you have an opportunity. Let's take a look again. He did well with the run. Wanted to get past him here. Very tricky. And he kicked. Yeah, he took him out. The flag stayed down, but the referee was right there. Watch. Didn't go for the ball.
Yeah, he had the leg of Sowa. So it was a perfect call from the referee.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he went behind the ball. Whether he was ready for the kick.
He's their penalty taker.
Yeah, I agree. But he went down. He was kicked. He went down. And for me, I just don't know. Was he ready for the penalty? That's the question I'm asking.
Of course. I mean, he's put them away in other matches, so he felt confident he would do the same. Maybe the pressure got to him. I mean, that expression there was perhaps a sign of anxiety. Was it a good penalty kick? Took his time, and I think he even... There you go.
It was the same kick which he took at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And
here, look.
Yes, it was the same kick.
He couldn't get his legs around it.
A second kick and then...
An opportunity. Oh, my goodness. He had a chance to, get the rebound, and he totally missed it. Watch, here. Out of shot. Anyway, it's done and dusted. Lessons. What are the lessons to be learned from this Medeama? Not out mathematically, but looking like a tall order.
These are some of the few experiences.
But before that, let's take a look at the goals where it was forced errors. Literally bringing pressure on yourself. Pressing from your opponents. And look, he had nowhere to pass. Simba.
Yeah, it is attitude, seriously. And for me, I think that the Medeama players' attitude on the day was very bad.
Yeah, and what about tactically, where they switched
that was what I was
off?
talking about. Tactically, to Medeama was zero, because look at how many players were surrounded. About 6 players, and 1 player took them on to go and score. And this didn't happen in Kumasi. When the same player took the ball from far, 2 defenders couldn't close him down, and he went and entered into the penalty area and shot at goal. And for me, so what was the lesson learned in the Kumasi game? I believe that Yanga did a lot of work on Medeama's team. About 6 players. And it was so sad. Before this goal, the goalkeeper has made about 3 serious saves to prevent Yanga from scoring. So for me, I think that Medeama, they've shot themselves. They shot themselves, and I think that they have to come back and make sure that they sit down and then analyze what really is wrong with the team. Because look, technically, I think that they need to do something about it. And of course, the playing body, they need an orientation. Because yeah, this kind of attitude, you don't use it to play in the Champions League. Not at all. Whereby players complain, fight, and all that. And for me, I mean, every minute that the ball gets into the penalty area of Medeama, you see 2 players arguing.
The goalkeeper had a go at one of his defenders, if you look at that.
That was Kojam Wako. And before that, Kojam Wako and the captain, Musa too, were also arguing seriously. And you ask yourself, why?
Made it look very easy. He had a replica mobile phone in his socks, and there he is. He's calling his mama.
That was a shingle.
You know, watch the build again. And coach, you've noticed that literally all their goals were a touch of. They had a helping hand from Medeama. This one was given away again.
All these goals could have been prevented if they had been the awareness of the players had been good, if they had communicated very well, if they had defended well. So what was the principle of defense that Medeama took into the game? In the first half, we spoke about Medeama.
He gave it away. Watch again.
He just gave the ball away. And the attitude of Fatau, you see, you ask yourself, just imagine. And sometimes when Medeama players lose possession, their reaction tells you that there's something wrong somewhere. When they lose possession, their reaction tells you that there's something wrong somewhere.
If we can go back a frame to where the Medeama player actually gave the ball away, you know, okay, out of shot, but the pass. Yeah, but defensively it was poor.
Yeah, that is what coach was talking about. I agree with coach. You know, when you look at the goals that the younger team scored, Medeama could have avoided all these 3 goals. Looking at this particular one, the touch from the Doom Selfie defender was wrong on that side. That is the reason why, you know, the younger player went to make sure he scored that goal for younger football players. So Medeama, these are some of the few experiences you get from inter-club competition. You go for the 2nd time, the 3rd time in a row, and you pick, you know, some experiences in some of these games.
It's a long journey, but
in as much that yes, I understand that the group is tough. Ali, Benidua, and of course Yanga. They are a very tough and disciplined side. You were able to go to Egypt, you lost 3-0, you came back, and then you fought from back to win 2-1 against Benidua. You play home against Yanga. Yes, you went ahead, and then they came back to equalize. But you should have learned something from it. You see, your attitude on the field of play is key. It is key. Because look, when you are playing a game and you don't play as a team, because when one loses possession, the reaction of the person tells you that there's something wrong somewhere. And for me, in the second half, Medeama lost so many second balls. They lost 50-50 balls. And for me, I think that it was something you ask yourself that what was the technical team doing? They made quick 3 changes, and they came on, and then they had a penalty. And for me, you ask yourself, after that miss of a penalty, what really went into it psychologically? And as my brother said, Soa should have been substituted earlier, since the coach knew that he is on a card, and the kind of attitude that he was showing on the field of play would have called for a second bookable offense. And for me, unfortunately, he has to go out.
Yeah. Well, if you've just joined us, you missed the game between, that is, if you've just joined, Yanga from Tanzania and Medeama. It ended 3-0, a red card for the team manager as well as the striker, Jonathan Soa. 3-0. Could have been 5 or 6 based on the number of chances created by the home side. But as it turns out, we'll take a look at the table as it stands now, and then it gives you an idea of what's, Medeama have to travel to Algeria. It's going to be tough. They're not mathematically out of it, but you're talking about going to Algeria to do something and then Ali coming to Kumasi for you to win. Because now you must win your next 2 games.
Remember, before the game started, I said something here. If Medeama should play the way they played in Kumasi against the Youngans, then it's going to be a problem for Medeama.
But it was even worse.
That is it. I expected them to lift up their game. Jan Vital was out. That was why he was pulled out. Mante got injured. He was also out. So you ask yourself, what was really, really happening to the Medeama team? And for me, they left here on Saturday, so they had ample time to even to rest and then probably train. So what really went into this game?
They're there because head-to-head they beat the Algerians, but they need to travel to North Africa.
Medeama has played how many games? The Algerians have played how many games? They have a game to play.
Yeah, Ali have currently World Club Championship. They're doing very well. I think 3rd place game up for them, and then they'll return. Very solid side. If you look at this table, it's really, in terms of form,
yes.
Obviously Ali, young Africans, even though they won by 3-0, I still feel that a team that knows its left and right could still get something from them. It's a tight group, very tight group.
Yeah, when you look at this particular 10 loss to Medeama Football Club, qualifying from this group will be difficult.
If Medeama want to qualify to this group, they need to win
their next 2 games
against and in Algeria.
Yes.
And it's a very tall order.
Tough.
Looking at their
against
attitude
Ali in Ghana.
and looking at how Medeama played today, it's a tall order. Ali at the Barbarian Sports Stadium, anything can happen.
with a crowd behind you.
Anything can happen.
And people want to go and see
seriously,
the great Ali.
Yeah, anything can happen. When the Blasters were playing the Pharaohs of Egypt and the Barbarians, nobody thought we were going to beat them at 6. It's football, anything can happen.
And operations never come.
China with my operations when they are playing Ali. What I'm saying is that if they want to qualify, they need to do something good in Algeria.
Yeah,
and which is a very tall order for them.
Remember Tlemcen, the World Cup qualifier, Siki Akono and Co, where the Algerians made sure that any advantage they wins, and almost had these good pitches or so. So anything they do, to get it back, they're a good side.
Before they get into the dressing room, it was locked.
They're only a good side.
Oh, of course, they are very good.
They went to Cairo, they went to Egypt to draw with Ali.
I'm saying that Medeama needs to do their homework well. In as much that you cannot compare the qualities of both teams, they need to do their homework well. If the boys have shown commitment and attitude well, I don't think the scoreline would have been 3 because they could have prevented those goals. Seriously.
So what happened? Tactically, we got it wrong?
Yes,
attitude was wrong?
We had it wrong. We had it wrong.
What could the coach have done better?
Yeah, the point is that you are playing a team that you've just played less than 2 weeks. Obviously, you should know something about the team very well. You went to sit back playing Sowa at top. You had the opportunity on 3 counters to punish them. They couldn't do that. So it tells me that you didn't even practice countering when you are going to defend. And looking at how many players were behind the ball when Medeama loses possessions, in as much that they had more players behind the ball, they were still not closing the spaces where the younger players were using. And looking at the first goal, where the player took the ball, about 5 players, he went through them, and obviously the goalkeeper has no answer to the shot at goal. Before then, he has made about 3 great saves to prevent the people from scoring. So for me, I think that tactically they had it wrong. And on the field of play itself, the players themselves, psychologically, I think there are a lot of things that went into this game. And I think that Medeama need to sit up. If they really, really want to go through in this group, then they need to go to Algeria and do something good. Other than that, Obrego.
Any positives before we talk about Dreams, which is coming up? Dreams FC in action at the Barbarian Sports Stadium. That match will be live here on Max TV and on Star Times. But 79 you're negative. There must have been some positives to take away from a 3-0 defeat.
The positive that they have a very good goalkeeper.
Right, let's talk about that. He saved them at least 5 goals.
They have a very good goalkeeper. Out of Medeama's squad, I'll pick out Felix J. Today's game. that somebody that I can see that he was really, really, really into the game, making sure that he will not concede. But look at what happened. And for me, I think that it's one player I was single out of the Medeama's team today.
But coach, when you concede 3 goals in Algeria, you concede 3 goals in Tanzania.
You mean in Cairo?
Yeah, so in Cairo against El Ali Football Club, and 3 goals in Tanzania against Yanga, 6 goals in 2 away games in the CAF Champions League. And goalkeeper becomes one of the best players.
I'm not saying the best player. Among the players, he's the one player I'll single out. Because looking at the goals that were scored, you can never blame the goalkeeper for the goals that he conceded. Obviously, the first goal, you cannot blame the goalkeeper. Look at the second goal, a gifted, and the third goal. You don't blame the goalkeeper. Looking at the kind of saves that he made, if the defenders had been purposeful, if they had been solid, right? If they had
more grits.
Of course, they would have prevented those goals from entering the net because the goalkeeper did very well. If you ask me, he prevented the people from scoring not less than 4 goals in the game. So that's why I single out him. Apart from him, none of the players for me did well on the field of play.
Is it the defensive setup that gave rise to the posture of the players? I said, nothing at stake. You know, we couldn't see that.
Fatao came to replace Kamaldeen on the left side. Kujan Wanku maintained his position. Baba Musa, the central midfielder, came to replace the injured Nuruddin. I thought that Kofi Asma should have been there because he came to play in Kumasi. So Baba Musa will maintain his position as a pivot so that Jan Vital and Mante, and then probably they use Fojo and the rest.
Coach,
but I don't know why what happened.
Let's focus on what's on the screen. Director will take us back and just watch what happens amongst the players. Let's go back when the corner is conceded. And in terms of organization, in terms of leadership, what you should not do and should do.
No, that should go back a bit. It should go back a bit. That was where Baba Musa, the captain, came to clear the ball for a corner kick. And he ran to Kojan Wako. You just watch. Now that I leave it there. Okay, now let's go. Watch. After clearing the ball, he ran to Kojan Wako. Watch.
You're supposed to be there.
You see?
Concentrate.
And concentration will not be there. Whilst the goalkeeper is yelling, Kojan Wako is yelling. So at the end of the day, what are you trying to portray?
Organization here, 0.
Very poor.
Yeah.
Very poor.
And the corner comes in.
So when you behave like this on the field of play and you allow loose balls to go just for them to be able to beat your goalkeeper, yeah, it's very sad.
So no marking here?
You ask yourself, just watch it. Just watch it. Watch the way they were marking. You see?
No.
Kojan Wakun lost it. Baba Musa lost it. And for me, you ask yourself that before the kick, what was going on there? Why were they yelling at each other? It was a corner kick against you. So you need to organize yourself well. You need to position yourself well. You have a tall player in the person of their captain who eventually had the ball at the back of the net. He was in the middle of the penalty area. Who was marking him? Baba Musa has got height. Why was he not close to him? So what was really happening? And at that point, what was the technical team doing out there? Were they seeing what was really happening in the penalty area before the kick?
At this point, when something happens, you can only shout. The technical team is powerless. Maybe
Yeah, they cannot be powerless because
they can shout, but what is happening there, players are...
Yeah, if they shout or probably they call, that means that the players are tactically indisciplined.
Obede. At that time, maybe on Mujna, the players had already lost concentration.
And I'm saying that they are just call the attention to
and
it.
this is what resulted. And still...
You see the goalkeeper, after the goal, you watch the reaction of the goalkeeper when the ball entered
the marking was wrong.
Yeah. He tried to get his fingertips to it.
I watched the reaction of the goalkeeper when the ball went into the net. You see, he tried because it was a deflection that went into the net. Because he saw the direction of the ball. But with the deflection, he tried, but he couldn't. And watch the reaction of the goalkeeper. So it tells you that the attitude of the players themselves, was bad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you cannot go into Champions League with this kind of attitude. No, you can't do anything.
I'm sure the technical team will go back. They'll look at the video, they'll review, they'll analyze.
So yeah, you will come back, every video.
Now, what else can they do? They need to go back and analyze, review, and try to correct this. One would have thought they learned their lessons from the Kumasi game. We haven't seen that.
Because they
Would you lay the blame at the doorstep of the coach entirely?
Yeah, I think some of these players are not disciplined. Immediately they draw the game against Yanga in Kumasi. I predicted on radio that Medeama is out. Because I know in the interclub
We are
competition,
profits.
when you drop points at home in the group stage, your chance of qualifying becomes difficult. Unless you are one of the powerful houses when it comes to the North African teams, like Ali and the likes. So Medeama, when you are playing 3 home games in a group that have El Ali Football Club, Belouizdad, and Yanga, a team that you have to pick the maximum 3 points is Belouizdad and, of course, Yanga. You don't drop points against Yanga and go away, try to look for...
Yeah, if Medeama has won the game in Kumasi, they will have been on top with 6 points. If you're losing today's game, you will still leave them there.
Advantage.
You take
They
command
had
over
all
the
the advantages in Kumasi to go ahead. But because of attitude and indiscipline on part of some of the players, Medeama messed up. And going to Tanzania, those things should have been corrected or things should have been put in place. But it was worse in terms of attitude.
An unfortunate performance. But I do feel sorry for Moses Amapaka, the bankroller, because he would have invested a lot and probably had the confidence and belief that the boys would turn things around.
But yeah, when you monitor the Medeama team, their second game against Belouizdad in Ghana, Jonathan Sowa was not in the team.
He was suspended.
He didn't play.
He was suspended because of...
So the only game Jonathan Sowa didn't play, that was the game Medeama won in the group stage.
Tactically, if I explain, let me say, what does it mean? So he should be dropped.
Because of his attitude, when it comes to the biggest stage like this,
he lets them down.
One of the big guys in the team, top scorer in the second round of Ghana Premier League for Medeama Football Club, a key player, they are going to rely on you in the CAF Champions League. They enter the group stage. You go to Ali. You go to Ali in Egypt. You were down by 3 goals to 0. You come home against Belouizdad. You were able to come back from a goal down to win by 2 goals.
Was it a suspension? That's why he was suspended.
Accumulated
yellow cards.
Lobote and Fodjo and the likes.
Yeah.
They did all the trick to get the maximum win, 2-1 in Ghana. He came back into the team. You were able to get a penalty, leading by 1 goal to 0. 1-1. You couldn't win the game in Ghana. Going to Tanzania as a key player in the team.
So all what you are saying is that going to Algeria with that Sowa.
It's the best thing for
Medeama. Could be a positive, right?
Best thing for Medeama.
You think they can?
And in that game,
you think they can cause an upset?
I think in the group stage they are playing better off Jonathan Sowa. I don't know whether since he joined the Blasters camp has affected his performance in the Medeama team. To be honest, I think Lomote and Fodjo and those players on the bench, I think they may even help better than what Jonathan Sowa.
Yeah. Black Stars, very briefly, since you brought it, obviously we'll go to Kumasi, Babayara, where Dreams will be, taken on. But a quick one, this issue before we go for the break. National team call-up, Sowa has been there and all the rest. Do you think performance in the Champions League, red card, so-called lack of discipline, Coach Houghton will be watching and thinking that,
he has worked with him. The last game against Comoros, he gave him some few minutes to come and play. So for now, Chris Houghton and the technical team should know the attitude of the player. I say, Abia, or Blaster, or your strap off, or Medeama, on yes, it's possible.
Okay.
So, but on the field of play, what he has shown, he has to take Chris Houghton and his technical team. But there was one player out of the 55 that I felt that he should have been part of the 55 is Manaf.
Manaf?
Yes, of Nswatreman.
Right. He's in form.
You see, sometimes it's sad. Me no nyɛ say 55 no. Chris Houghton enim 27 no de bɛkɔ. Onim. Or say Arsenal for bɛka say party bɛkɔ na onim 27 no. Manaf with his numbers and the kind. He has not scored from the spot kick.
Okay.
So for me, he should have been part of the 11 local base players and Manaf is not part. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, the conversation continues. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be back in just a bit and head into the Babayara Sports Stadium. Our sports stadium, we shift from the Champions League to the Confederation Cup. And of course, Ghana has interest, though. Dreams FC, in their last encounter, went away. Academica do Lobito of Angola is the opposition. Academica, of course, lost at home. And this is the return leg. Dreams are very confident of repeating the dose, which will put them in very good position to advance in that group. It's not all done, but some would argue that so far, judged or based on what we've seen, Club African, Dreams FC are the two sides to watch out for. We've seen Rivers. They're decent, but they're not a side to be frightened of. And definitely Academica has been the whipping boys so far, Coach. It's looking good for Dreams. They need to focus. They need to concentrate. A win today, 3 points, would put them in a very good position to advance. Look at the points.
Yeah, it's good for Dreams FC to have won the first leg. And I think that I listened to Karim Zito when he spoke about they going there, they have it at the back of their mind that if they're able to win 2 straight games, it will push them into the knockout stage. And I think that in today's game, Dreams FC has to go all out. They have to use this as a starting point that we are yet playing. Because after this game, they'll be playing Club African. And if they're able to have even a point, if they should win today, have a point in that game, they should be able to go through. So I foresee Dreams FC coming out very strong in this game. But this is football. Academica, they are also not a bad side. Though they were able to put 2 balls at the back of Dreams FC at their own backyard. Dreams FC had 3. But this is football. When you get your chances and you don't take them, you are punished. But I know Dreams FC, the likes of John Entry Aziz, and of course the likes of Jalilu Abdul. These are guys on a very good day who will be able to do for Dreams FC. Yeah, so I expect Dreams FC to go all out. I'm sure by now they know the results of Medeama, who are representing Ghana in the Champions League. So they wouldn't like to jeopardize the name Ghana football in terms of allowing the team to go down this evening or this afternoon. So I believe that Karim Zito and his boys are poised and they should be able to account for the Angolans.
Yeah, Academica, the whipping boys, they've lost to the opponent so far. Psychologically, they know this is the last game for them to get something. If they lose or draw, that is it, potentially, for them. So they're under pressure. Dreams would have to take that pressure and use it to win this game. Nana.
When you look at the group standing, it tells you everything about this particular group. The Academica team is the whipping boys of this particular group. So the rest of the teams, everybody has 6 points in this particular group. Rivers 6, Dreams 6, and of course Club Africans who also has 6, who are hosting Rivers United today at home. So it tells you the Academica, the Lobito is the whipping boys in this particular group. So Dreams will have to do everything possible to pick the maximum 3 points in today's game in Babaya if they really want to qualify to the next round of the competition. So this is how the group looks like. That is why I think they have to do everything possible to pick the maximum 3 points today and move to 9. Club African is likely to pick the maximum 3 points against Rivers United. So you move to 9 points, you take over the group and look at what will happen between you and Rivers United game in Nigeria. So Dreams will have to do everything possible to pick the maximum 3 points today.
No doubt about that. And
a team that will be able to score 3 goals against them when you visit them at their home grounds. It tells you can score at least 2-3 goals.
The other whipping boys. Or 3 or quite away or 3.
It's a said Dream should be brave for the goal difference because definitely Club African.
Also because quite away. 3 or quite away or 3.
Now, about the Club African,
but saying this, no, it shouldn't go into the head of Dreams FC. It shouldn't go into the head of Dreams FC. Say, we are coming back home. We are
Rivers National Club.
We are going all out to do the do.
Are we underrating Dreams? Because if you look at the performance they put up against Rivers, they outplayed Rivers. They could have had more goals against the Nigerians.
Rivers came to Kumasi, and for me, Dreams were stronger than them.
That's what I'm saying.
And Dreams should have even scored more.
But almost share Club African.
But that is football for you. That is football for you. That is why Dreams FC needs to be very careful in today's game. In as much as they are the favourites that we are all rooting for them to win, they need to be very careful. This is football. Because if you are not careful and you concede early, you'll be forced to push more men and probably another thing may happen. So for me, I think that Dreams FC has to go all out to make sure that they kill the game in the first 45 minutes and then probably think about something else. And I believe Karim Zito will be able to do something good this afternoon.
Okay, Karim Zito doing a good job. I say about Abasso, he's done well so far. It's not completely done from a Kotoko man. And he was thankful for the support at the Babayara Sports Stadium. And towards the end, they pushed them on to get extra goals. And those are live shots coming in. Dreams, obviously, this is Dreams dressing room. And it will be very interesting to see. I say about clubs, Charlie, you know, Dreams, Medeama in Africa. Yeah, I like the Ghana flag on there. They are representing Ghana. And I've been impressed by their play. Very positive, offensive, attacking, strong play that we've seen so far in the Confederation Cup. I say, yeah, underrated Dreams, Kakrao. Yeah, and shut that. And we didn't give them that much hope at the beginning when the draw was made.
Yeah, they've done well. You know, yeah, I always talk about this thing that in recent times, qualifying to the group stage of the Confederation or CAF Champions League, it's not as difficult like it used to be in previous years because this time you have four groups in the Confederations Cup and, of course, the Champions League. So making it 16 teams in the group stage. Previously, it used to be 8. So I term it as we are now playing the round of 16 in the group stage. Previously, you know, you play about 3 home and away games before you qualify to the group stage of the Confederations Cup or the Champions League. By this time around, you play 2 games and you can be in the group stage of the interclub competition. So Dreams is very lucky to be in the group stage. And so far, after 3 games and you're having 6 points in a group like this, it means Dreams FC have really prepared themselves, getting experience in the preliminary stage before entering into the group stage that really helped them. And these are young guys. The only experienced guy in the team is John Entry, who has played football in other African countries, have gotten rich experience in the African team. So, Dreams also as a football club.
John Entry, a friend of Black Stars.
Yes, and
He's part of the 55.
Anakwesiapia he played, and this time he's part of the 53-man squad. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the experienced guys in African football.
His hold-up play is very good.
Quality centre forward. I think among the strikers that we've called, he's one of them that you can score from all angles on the field of play. So he's a quality player in the Dreams FC team. So he's using that experience to guide the Dreams FC guys in their game in the group stage of the Confederations Cup. So I think they will do everything possible to make sure they win today's game in Kumasi.
Yep. The match would kick off at 4 p.m. We'll be bringing you live coverage of that. We've had, you know, positive, what should I say, feedback as far as the supporters are concerned. But this is another game being played midweek. We've had an overload of matches at the Babayara Sports Stadium. Medeama, Accra's the Vogue, Great Olympics, Kotoko, you name it. And it's good in one aspect, but the other one is fatigue as far as the fans are concerned, because this weekend and so Accra Great Olympics, our home game against Hearts of Oak is coming up. So we need to bear in mind that as much as the Kumasi fans... Friday, I beg your pardon. As much as the Kumasi fans have been great and others have travelled to come and support, fatigue can also set in.
Of course, I mean, due to the...
I'm talking about financial fatigue anyway, supporting.
Oh, of course, I mean,
Yeah.
you know. But one advantage is that most of the people in Kumasi are closer to the stadium, where the stadium is. When you go through Asokwa, Amokom, and the rest, people
even walk.
People walk all the way to the stadium to come and watch. But like Accra Sports Stadium, the Independence Square, the cemetery, and the ministries. So obviously, people have to go through by going with or transport. But I think that the Kumasi fans have done very well. That they need to commend. You need to commend them. They've done very well. I mean, teams that are not playing their games at the venue, but they've come and then you go all the way to supporters so that they want to see good football. And Dreams FC has given them good football. Medeama has given them good football. House of Folk and Olympics, they've all gone there to play very good football. So we are hoping that the fans will be at the stadium to support Dreams FC to account for the Angolans.
No doubt. Live shots coming from Barbera. The Angolans, once upon a time, you know, Petro Atletico, Petro Luanda, and, you know, the clubs from Angola were quite feared. I remember when Hearts of Oak travelled there and had some issues some years ago. Angolan teams in the competition have gone down a little bit, maybe, perhaps, Coach.
Yeah, it is true. But sometimes football is developing. Football is really, really developing. Sometimes you ask yourself, yeah, it's very serious. And for me, I think that Angola football has gone down. Looking at even their senior national team, looking at the junior national teams, they've really gone down.
Yeah. I think, the Angolan team, I think one of the teams, I think they did well in the preliminary stage before they entered into the group stage of the competition. So when you monitor their strength in the group stage, they are struggling. So far, they've played 2 home games already, and they've lost all the 2 games in the interclub competition. The big teams in the group were able to score them when they were hosting them at home. So it tells you, the team was not really prepared for the group stage of the interclub competition. That is why Medeama, with all credit to them for them going away to pick the maximum 3 points. But for you to score 3 goals in an away game, that is the reason why I tip Medeama Dream FC to pick the maximum win today at the Babaya Sports Stadium. They have a good team. The Aziz guy, the Galidou Sa guy, and of course John Entry, and some of these players. There's one other player who got a call up into the national team from Dream FC.
That is Etua Hene.
So they are not a bad side.
Former Liberty professional captain.
Competing well in the interclub competition, they've gotten some rich experience that is helping them in doing well in the competition. So the Dreams team is not a bad team. I think they have to pick the maximum 3 points today. At least 3 or 4 goals today in Kumasi will not be a bad result for Dreams FC. They need to make sure they still about 60% of their qualification today, because going to the game against Club African in Kumasi and going to Nigeria to play with West United, that 2 games will not be easy. So when you pick the maximum 3 points today, it will help you make sure you do well in the group stage of the competition.
Awesome. Let's go to the Bavaria Sports Stadium. The 2 sides are ready to come on for the match. Is the Total Energies CAF Confederation Cup Dreams versus APC Lobito.
Like 15 seconds. Okay, so now from here we do stadium